from the University of Limpopo in Polokwane. Welcome to this, the fifth in eNCA's pre-election town hall meetings, where for the next 90 minutes, senior provincial politicians will be put through their paces. Over the past few hours, party supporters have been arriving in their regalia, and they'll have a chance to speak directly to those seeking their vote. Limpopo is generally considered a stronghold for the ruling ANC. The province played a key role in ensuring the election of Cyril Ramaphosa as party president at Nasrec in 2017. But with corruption, poor service delivery, and demarcation disputes plaguing municipalities in the province, what plans do competing parties have to win the key cross on the ballot paper? Stand by now for eNCA anchor Shahan Ramkisoon.
Hello and welcome to the special eNCA election town hall debate. We're live in the University of Limpopo. This province, of course, is home to EFF leader Julius Malema. It's also the ancestral home of ANC President Cyril Ramaphosa. But let's not forget, guys, this province is home to the now defunct VBS Mutual Bank, an institution where the poor believed they could invest in their money, but they were robbed by the greedy rich who drive fancy cars, flaunting their wealth from money looted from VBS Bank. This province still has schools with pit toilets. It also has one of the highest incidents of household poverty. So with that, I ask you if these are the leaders you want to govern Limpopo. It's time to put them to the test, to ask them tough questions. And that's why we have our reporter Aldrin St-Pierre in the crowd, on the ground, to get those questions from you. Aldrin?
Yes, and I'm the guy with the mic. There's going to be a battle over the mic, guys, just so that you know. Yes, we are live here at the University of Limpopo. 2.6 million people have registered to vote and participate in the elections on May the 8th. They will decide who will govern this particular province, and in the past the ANC has been doing very well, close to about 80% of the vote back in 2016. But will they be able to maintain that majority? Very important as well, Shahan, is the issue that you raised, the issue around the VBS scandal. Do these people really care about the VBS scandal? Do they really care that the Auditor General has found that none of the municipalities in this province have had a clean audit? Limpopo, Tobela. Over to you, Shahan.
All right, we'll go to Aldrin in a bit, but first let me introduce our panelists. There are a few simple rules, guys. There are 90 seconds for you to make opening remarks. We don't have time for long political speeches. We want to get to the bottom of what you have to say. 90 seconds to basically convince people about why they should actually vote for you and your party. Let's start with our panelists. The first off, of course, is the EFF's provincial chairperson, Josie Butane.
Thanks very much.
Up next, of course, next to him is the ANC's Provincial Secretary, Soviet Lekhanyane. And then we have COPE's Provincial Secretary, Eric Motlapa Maswi. And lastly, we have the DA's National Spokesperson, Soli Malatsi. All right, let's start with the opening statement from the EFF, the provincial chairperson, Josie Butane. Your 90 seconds starts now.
Thanks very much. The people of Limpopo, you have given us 10.74% in 2014, which was 6 seats. Now we have given you water in Mudimule. We have given you land in Vilavela. We have given you land in Jujuveli. We are saying to you, this is the only organization that gives you a commitment and fulfill it. We are saying to you, come and vote for us, increase those votes, let's go, we are prepared to give you decent jobs, we are going to give you sustainable jobs and decent housing. This is the organization that is going to give you ambulances in every ward, 566 wards. We are going to empower women, the youth. We are going to empower the disabled people. They are going to get decent jobs as well. You are going to get quality education. The education that you will not have to die for. before you receive. We are going to give you every clinic in every ward. We are going, as the EFF, we are going to make sure that all the pit toilets you have in Limpopo will be a matter of the past. We will not be like those when given money to build pit toilets, they eat it and use it for political use.
All right,
that's the EFF for you.
Let's move over to the ANC's Provincial Secretary, Soviet Lechanyane. Your 90 seconds will start now.
Thanks very much from the African National Congress, the global champion of human rights, renowned for the nobility of thought, who are a personification of the triumph of the human spirit. We built South Africa from ashes. We built Limpopo from nowhere. 90% of these people have access to electricity. Over 75% of the people of Limpopo have access to clean potable water. We have built clinics and health centers in the villages. Makotobong, Nobody, Evelyn Lechanyane, Ramutiba. That is the African National Congress. We built libraries. We don't say we will, we did. Libraries, Polokwane, Njelele, Bahoma, Saselemani, everywhere. Libraries delivered to you by the African National Congress. We will continue to serve the people better. We are a caring organization. We are a towering revolutionary giant. South Africa, Limpopo, you have an appointment with only one party, the ANC, on the 8th of May.
All right, Soviet, you were done in less than 90 seconds. So let's move on to COPE's Eric Watlapmawaswi, the Provincial Secretary. Your 90 seconds will start now.
Let's start by acknowledging that South Africa has a very serious problem of leadership. And we need to make sure that, South Africa is now borrowing on weekly basis 6 billion a week, of which 5 billion is used on servicing the debt. As we're speaking now, the debt clock is clicking. We are at about 3 trillion rands of debt. That being the case, South Africa needs a fresh start. As Congress of the People, we believe that South Africa needs a fresh start. As Congress of the People, the education system that we see here, it's a fake of a system. We need to make sure that the education system becomes a better one. Number two, we have a challenge with the clinics whereby there are no services. We must make sure that in Limpopo, our clinic systems are there and they're 24-hour services. Each and every person must make sure that they get their services at the clinic as they want to. We have a challenge with regards to the police system. We are not safe as a community. We need to make sure that we increase the number of police people so that our people can be safe on daily basis in their houses, so that we can clamp down on the crime statistics. The little thing that we need to look at is that we are jobless. South Africa must make sure that we create so many jobs.
I have to stop you right there. Let's move on to the DA's Soli Malatsi. Soli, your time starts now.
Thank you very much, Jan. For us, this election is about jobs. South Africa faces an unemployment crisis, so that is why in our manifesto, the focus is on making sure that there is a job in every household. We have to create job opportunities for young people, starting particularly with school leavers, because there are lots of young people who are not absorbed into higher education that we want to absorb into a national youth civilian program, so that we can allocate them job opportunities in the health sector, in the police service, and in health services. Linked to that is we want to tackle corruption. We are recommending a 15-year sentence for corruption because it is high time that there is consequences, particularly for politicians who steal money meant for public services for their own benefit. And in this province, we have such a prime example. We also want to make sure that we secure our borders to have effective immigration control, so that we can allow those foreign nationals who want to study in South Africa or visit or invest to have the processes to do so and deal with the porous borders that are aggravated by poor staff control in home affairs, so that we can distinguish between criminal elements and those that are willing to invest in this country. We also want to make sure that we have a professional police services, so that our police have the resources and the detective capacity to make sure that we get convictions for crime.
All right, Sully, your time is up. So we've heard what the politicians have to say. It's now time to question them. And I'll lead the questions. I want to start with the ANC because the ANC got 78% of the vote in 2014. So, yeah. I think you have the most questions based on that. This province has entrusted the ANC to put things right, to deliver basic services, to make sure that they live better lives. But have you? Because you have 0% clean audits, you have millions in irregular expenditure, you have a water issue for many people in many villages, still up to this day. 7 municipalities your premier admits was on the brink of insolvency. Why should these people trust you again and put you in power?
What was your last question?
Why should people trust you given those failures?
The question that you said before you asked the last question.
7 municipalities on the brink of insolvency, according to your premier.
No, thanks very much. There is something that we should correct, and it was said here that the province never produced a clean audit in municipalities. We have 2. In fact, we have Waterberg District Municipality, which produced back-to-back clean audits in 2010 and 2011. I was the MEC of
I'm
local
talking about the
government.
2015-2016
We had
AG
Fetakomo
report.
local municipality. We must say it, because if you say never, it is not a fair representation of facts.
All right,
So facts must be adequately represented.
let's
here.
not get into semantics. The 2015-2016 AG
But
report
it must
said
be recorded
0%.
here. I'm putting it on record here. Anybody who wants to challenge it with facts. We did it. We delivered clean audits in Fetakomo local municipality, back-to-back in Waterberg District Municipality.
In 2 municipalities.
Yes, in 2 municipalities.
And
yes,
how many
we agree.
municipalities do you have in
We
this
have
province?
22 municipalities.
So you
in
want
this
to
province.
boast about 2 municipalities with clean audits?
But the fact is that those 2 municipalities achieved clean audits.
Carry on.
It's
How do you
undeniable.
promise
It's
people
not
that you will
about
deliver?
emotions, it's about facts. You take the facts. We delivered 2 clean audits in 2 municipalities, Waterberg District Municipality and Fetahome.
We heard you. You're
Can we
boasting
go to
about
the
2
next point?
municipalities. Yeah, go ahead.
Can we go to the next point? Because this one you can't change it. It happened. It doesn't matter how many times we say it. Let's go to the next point. Yes. Yes, it's true that we had a problem of unauthorized expenditure in the past, which you have spoken about. But if you go and check the records of government, Honorable Butano also is a member of the provincial legislature. You will know that the last report that was presented in the legislature was showing that unauthorized expenditure in the province has been drastically reduced. We no longer have significant cases of unauthorized expenditure in this province.
Soviet has it though, because the 2015-2016 AG report shows that your irregular expenditure went up from 1.324 million to 1.317. So the numbers are not in your favor. In fact, the AG said that this province was characterized by complacency when it comes to unqualified reports.
Maybe I must educate you so that you understand it better. Because you must not, don't ask questions to confuse me, because you won't succeed. There are forms of expenditure. You have irregular expenditure, you have unauthorized expenditure, you have wasteful expenditure. Which expenditure do you talk about? So that we
I'm
can,
talking about irregular expenditure.
so that we can clarify you properly. Yes. Because I tell you, the question you ask, unauthorized expenditure in this province has been drastically reduced. Which expenditure? Is it a combination of the three?
Listen. Don't try to make anyone look foolish here, because you need to answer questions based on what people want to hear, right? You can try to make me look bad very easily, but you're not answering to people about the mismanagement of funds in this province. I'm talking about the mismanagement of funds in this province. So answer for them.
Yeah, no, I agree. Comrades, can we become? Let's contain ourselves, comrades. Look, I want you.
All right, guys, let's settle down. Let's give him a chance to answer, because we need to get to the answers to these questions. I mean, the point that I'm trying to make here is that an AG report for 2015-2016 has raised concerns about the management of funds in this province. Why then should people trust you to run these municipalities again?
I'm coming to that point. You asked me about 2015-16. You deliberately omit the last year of 2016 and 17 or 2016 and 17.
Okay.
So let us take the latest audit report, because what you do, you selectively and discriminately chooses the years that you want to ask me. What is the latest audit report? 2016, 2017, go to that report. It shows you that all the expenditure that you talk about, the undesirable expenditures, have been drastically reduced in this province. Let me tell you why
the
people...
latest AG
let me
report
tell you why
is based
people...
in 2015,
Because the
2016,
critical
which is why I'm
question
using
is...
it.
The critical question is, why must the people of Limpopo vote for the ANC? Let me explain to you why. Why they must vote for the ANC. The people of this province are going to vote for the ANC because when the ANC took over this government in 1994, first of all, the ANC has succeeded to stabilize South Africa, has succeeded to stabilize Limpopo, which is one of the beacons of democracy globally and on the continent. The African National Congress did not only stabilize South Africa, but went abroad to stabilize the entirety of the continent. We started in Rwanda, Burundi in 1994. We did Sierra Leone, we did the DRC, we did Sudan, even Nigeria today. Go and ask President Olusegun Obasanjo.
I need to
will
ask
tell
you to
you
concentrate
the stability
on
on the continent was
This
in
is
the
your
main,
province
led
trying
by
to
the
win
African
votes
National
from.
Congress.
You're not talking
Then
about the
here at
DRC
home,
or Nigeria.
then here at
I
home,
have to move on.
we provided electricity now to 93% of the population of the province. More than 75% of the people in Limpopo have access to clean and potable water. Further than that, we built the road network in this province. If you look at the R71, the R81, all these roads
I need to interrupt
were upgraded by the government of the African National Congress
as well. And let me remind you, as you throw these figures out boasting about all your successes, that 43.9% of households in Limpopo, in this province,
in Limpopo, yes,
actually say that they do not have safe and reliable water supply. That's the reality here. Let's move on to the EFF. Josie Botane, let's talk about VBS, because, you know, your party has spoken about this for a number of times, distancing yourselves from allegations that you benefited from VBS funds. What do you say to people who actually do believe that?
Look, the first thing we need to ask ourselves is the EFF any part of government here in Limpopo? Is the ANC that collapsed 22 municipalities because of the VBS issue? We have not collapsed any municipality. You cannot punish us for anything that we have not done wrong. It is the ANC that collapsed 22 municipalities. The arrogance you see here now today is the arrogance our people are getting every day. I'm telling you now that when they say they are dealing with VBS, they only took these mayors from being mayors and remain ordinary councillors. You have not dealt with a problem. This person is still getting salary. But there is an old woman who has lost everything else. So what are you saying? Now, these people have killed the Limpopo, the ANC. Now, you cannot blame the EFF for the failures of the ANC. You cannot, we have not collapsed 20 municipality as the EFF.
Okay, but had you benefited from VBS funds? A Scorpio investigation traced money from VBS to a property that the EFF owns in Johannesburg.
Look, if you say to us there is money that we have received, you must allow us an opportunity to respond to you on those allegations. No one ever came to us. So you can't create a lie, believe in it yourself, and then want us to be over-explaining ourselves on that lie. We are not part of those things. People who are part of VBS are these ones. They are even killing, I'm telling you now, here in Limpopo, the ANC councillor has died. Who killed that councillor? In Vembe, there is a person who died asking the ANC about VBS. Those are the questions you should be asking. Why are these people dying? You can't ask the EFF for not killing a person.
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
VBS is a big issue in Limpopo, which is why I'm asking about
the VBS is...
And let me remind you,
okay,
these allegations and these investigations by Scorpio was put to your national office. So it's not like you weren't given a chance to respond. It was dismissed.
We are even dismissing them now.
Okay, that's all I need to know. Thank you so much. Let's move to Eric from Cope. Eric, your party is struggling in Limpopo. In fact, you had 2 major members leave and join the ANC. Are you going to make a dent in this election?
Yeah, it is unfortunate that when you say 2 mayor, we are talking about those people that we put them through a disciplinary hearing and they were kicked out of the party because of the corruption that they had, because of trying to make use of the money that was not supposed to. Now, because, you know, in South Africa, as you look at currently, there is only one organization that can harbor such kind of criminals. And you know exactly what party that is. So we are so happy as Congress of the People that we have the discipline. We have cleansed ourselves.
So your provincial chair was one of the people who left and joined the ANC?
Yes, one of
And you have discipline, you say?
Yes, was put through a disciplinary hearing.
If your provincial chair does not trust your own party and leaves for another, how do people trust your party?
It is the very same the former provincial chairperson that was put through a disciplinary hearing and was kicked out of the party. So the people of South Africa can be able to trust us as Congress of the People because we don't care. If you are a member of the party and you do what is not supposed to be done, we'll definitely make sure that we will do justice to the people of South Africa. Because the money that Congress of the People is using is the money that comes from the taxpayers. So it is the same thing that we'll be doing when we'll be given the advantage of being able to manage that is the provincial legislature in this province. We will be able to make sure that the provincial departments are well run, there is good service delivery, and each and every person who is found wanting will be put through the proper disciplinary processes and will be kicked out.
Okay.
Rest assured, there is service delivery problems and protests in Limpopo because of the people seated on my right. We are the first province in 2011 that 5 departments were put under administration because of the people seated on my right. If you look currently, we have a challenge of the people who collapsed this province, and we cannot be able to stand there.
Okay,
Congress of the People will be able to take up the leadership in that one.
Break, but Solly Malatsi from the DI, I have so many questions for you. Don't miss that, because when we come back, of course, we'll speak to Solly Malatsi from the DA. They've been booted from 2nd position in this province to 3rd by the EFF. We'll take a break. We're back in a moment at the University of Limpopo. But that's what we're here for. We're here to debate. So let's actually speak to the DA's Solly Malatsi. Solly, first question. We see provincial leaders here.
Yeah.
Why are you here? Where's your provincial leader?
I mean, Shaheen, the key thing is we are all leaders of our parties. I'm the national leader in the DA. So that is what you are dealing with. We are here to represent our parties. Whether one is a national leader or a provincial leader, we represent our parties. So as to the levels, I mean, it's a meaningless question to be
But
frank.
your party pushes premier candidates for elections.
I will tell you where our premier candidate is. Our premier candidate is launching a job pledge today with other 9 premier candidates with the leader of the party in the Western Cape. But because we don't run a one-man show, when one person is not around, it doesn't mean the leadership of the party is not around.
All right, so let's talk about Modimolle Mokgopong Municipality. Solly, placed under administration. You
Yeah.
failed to pay salaries. It was placed under administration due to maladministration and dysfunctionality. I kind of know why you're going to say this is the case. So tell me why.
Look, let us be fair. We found a municipality that was bankrupt, a municipality that was financially unstable, to the extent that even when we got there, there was no municipal furniture in some offices. So the process of destabilizing a municipality does not happen overnight. We even went to the extent of getting guarantees to the Treasury and ESCOM so that there can be electricity, so that basic services can be rolled out. Because we're dealing with a legacy of over 2 decades of maladministration that my leader here, Soviet, is trying to defend. We're dealing with that legacy. And we're dealing with a coalition government for the first time. So sometimes things take longer to happen because of the intensity of the challenge that we fight. But we have run a clean administration there. There is no money that has been stolen there by politicians. There is no money there that has been mismanaged by politicians, because we've got honest politicians in charge there. And as a result, we are turning that municipality. We are able to deliver services
So how
despite
much
the
more
massive
time
challenges.
do you need to get things right? Because it's been about 2.5 years now.
2.5 years is the first phase of destabilizing any government by any normal trends. By the time we get to the conclusion of the term, we would have revived that municipality so that we can collect revenue that will able to cross-subsidize poor residents by making sure that refuse is removed, by making sure that you clean the street, but most importantly, by making sure that there's accountability where monies have been allocated. And where politicians have been in the wrong, there'll be consequences.
So when can people actually expect to see changes in that municipality?
I didn't hear.
Do you want another 2.5 years to see changes, or will it happen?
No,
soon?
we are in the process of change. Change is a continuous process. So by being there, by making sure that we have dried the taps for politicians to steal, that is the legacy of change that is happening there. By making sure that there was accountability when it comes to municipal finances, that is the accountability that is the change that is continuing there. By making sure that refuse is removed, that there's uninterrupted supply of water, that is the continuous change that is happening there.
All right. I'm going to leave this here because I love it when people tell me that I'm asking irrelevant questions. It actually means I'm doing my job and asking the right questions. So let's get questions from you guys. Feel free to ask whatever you want, because these are the panelists that we need to hold accountable. These are the people we vote into power, and then when we need them to come and fix our taps, they are nowhere to be found. So, Eldrin, over to you.
Well, Shahan, random questions are not random questions. I guess the question is a question after all. First of all, before we go to the general public, I just want to quickly highlight that, of course, as we normally have these town hall debates, we can't accommodate all the political parties that are featured on the ballot paper. But right now, I'm going to introduce 2 political parties that are quickly going to tell us what they are offering the electorate, and also raise some of the concerns that they've seen or noticed under the leadership of the various other parties that are represented on the panel. First of all, I'm going to start with the ACDP. The ACDP's Brighton Polokwane. Can you just quickly tell us what the party is offering? Just come a bit closer. Just quickly tell us what the party is offering and why people should be voting for the ACDP.
Thank you, Adrian. I'm Brighton Polokwane for ACDP, African Christian Democratic Party. We are the party in South Africa, the only voice that say, let's put God first in parliament. The main problems and challenges that are compounding this country is because the new democracy made one cardinal mistake. by leaving God outside politics. Now, my question will be to all the parties in front there. Tell the South Africans why you allowed legislations that are against the word of God to be passed in parliament. Tell the South Africans today. Thank you.
What are some of those legislations?
The same-sex marriage and abortion on demand. That's what exactly.
What is your issue with that? What is your issue with same-sex marriage? What is your issue with abortion?
Right. The ACDP considers the word of God to be inerrant and to be the final authority above all laws of men and government. Therefore, any legislation that undermines or mocks or militates against the word of God, as the ACDP we challenge.
But you don't say what is the problem with same-sex marriage? What is the problem with a woman deciding that I don't want to give birth? You don't tell us that.
Because we entirely depend on the word of God. Anything that the word of God says it is wrong, a sin. As ACDP, we cannot embrace that. We must challenge that.
Is there a scripture that says aborting is against the word of God? Is there a scripture that says aborting is against the word of God?
Thou shalt not kill, my man.
Okay. Well, the voters will have to decide whether thou will vote for the ACDP. I'm going to ask the African Convent Party to quickly come forward. Rufus, just quickly tell us what the party is offering and introduce us to the party as well.
Thank you very much. I'm from African Covenant. It is a God-fearing party. And then what we do in African Covenant is that we have got 4 pillars. That's unity, respect, order, and prosperity. Whatever I can tell you as voters is that those people I see in front of there, they are those ones who are just there to chow money. I'm telling you.
Give us an example.
Yeah. If it's not Busasa, it's VBS, then let me go on and tell you something. We as African Covenant, we are going to make sure that every child gets to school, and our education is going to be the kind of, we are going to teach people skills. We are not just going to give children books and for them to read, and then at the end of the day they don't get jobs. We are going to make sure that learners are getting skills. And then when coming to crime, we are going to make sure that a jail is a jail. A jail is not a 5-star hotel.
Okay, then thank you so much. That's from the African Covenant Party. I'm just quickly going to ask one student to come and speak to us quickly. His name is Wiseman. Wiseman, you want to raise the issue around unemployment, which of course is on the ticket of all the political parties that are standing there.
Yes, but I want to direct it to the ANC. I'm also a member of ANC, but I don't want to be offensive. I respect you, Comrade Leganyan. So my question is, there's thousands of social workers who graduated, and you promised that those people will be absorbed. Now the number is stand at 8,600. These people were trained at huge state expense, man. Currently, as we speak, no one is employed. Last year, you came here with Chowela FM. You were taking CVs of postgraduate students. I'm currently doing masters. None of those people has been absorbed. But as the ANC government, do you still want us to continue on believing that you are going to create jobs, whereas you are failing to absorb the ones that are currently graduating? And other issue, there's Josie Butane here. I want to show you that Comrade Josie Butane who's here. We know his lifestyle. We know that he just want to be famous. That's why every year he buys a Porsche, this comrade. So I don't see a difference. That's why I want to, you say we should produce fact. I gave you fact. As we stand now, 8,600 social workers have graduated. They don't have jobs and they were trained with DSD. But Tabile Dlamini collapsed that department. And no one, Cyril Ramaphosa yesterday was responding to children who pick a poster down, but is not responding to this issue of unemployment. We want jobs, nothing else.
The people want jobs. Well, there is the cry, Sean.
All right, Aldrin, I mean, that's an emotional sentiment shared by your voter, Soviet. He says 1,000 social workers have graduated, they still don't have jobs. Why?
Yes, I think the first.
All right, carry on. Carry on.
I think that what is very key is to start by explaining that the majority of those social workers were funded by the Department of Social Development to go to school and eventually complete. And in the last 5 years, we have absorbed 289 social workers in this province. But further than that, what we did was to introduce a partnership between the Department of Education and the Department of Social Development, so that social workers should not only be employed in the Department of Social Development, but they can also be linked to the Department of Education through the Early Childhood Development Centers. Of course, the number is exponentially high, we agree, but we must appreciate that government is doing something to overwhelm the problem. Where there are opportunities, where we have enough budget, we will incrementally absorb the social workers.
Your voter says that Batabile Dlamini collapsed that department.
Look, the African National Congress has come out very honestly and said that the last 10 years have not been the nicest 10 years for the Republic of South Africa. But what we are doing now, we are standing here in front of you very courageously, very resilient, with fortitude to say we are restoring public confidence in all the public institutions, and we promise the people of South Africa clean and better governance, accountable governance. We are going to confront all these negative tendencies that we have seen, insidious impunity, rampant greed, everything that is undesirable. We are determined to confront all these tendencies.
Some would argue that it's 10 years too late. I mean, many would argue it's 10 years too late. You gave us the Jacob Zuma era, you gave us the Batabile Dlamini era, and now you're saying, yes, we made mistakes, and we're working on it. But it was 10 years of mistakes.
We accept those mistakes that have happened. There are good things that have happened in the last 10 years, in as much as there are mistakes that have happened. And when we speak about those mistakes, we are not saying that the country has literally collapsed. We are saying there were mistakes, and as the ANC, we have seen those mistakes. We are once again making a commitment and a determination to eliminate those mistakes.
All right, I'm going to go to you, Eric, for a response. But the young man who spoke, you heard what he had to say. I don't have a mic for you. Are you still going to vote for the ANC? Are you still going to vote for the ANC? Simple yes or no. Just look at me. What are you doing? Are you going to vote for the ANC after hearing that?
I want to be honest with myself also, okay? I just also want Comrade Leganyane to be honest with us. We love the ANC, but we don't love the corruption. We don't love what they are doing. If really they are serious with what they promise, they should act and stop doing what they are doing. They said they will absorb social workers. No one so far. And to show that this is a challenge, but Tabilan Jamin, she's the one who collapsed DSD. There were no action that were done against that woman. She's still in the candidate list to go to parliament. We don't want you to send people to parliament that will let us down. We want candidates that will represent us. Be our voice.
So why do you still vote for the ANC given your concerns?
The reason why I came here, I wanted to ask questions to the ANC so that I, even myself, I should protect myself when I go and vote.
So what are you doing after hearing that? Are you going to vote for the ANC or not?
I will also appeal to other social work students who are unemployed because
You're
of
not
social
answering
work.
my question.
Listen, here's my
You're not answering my question.
Yes, here's my answer. Here's my answer. Here's my answer.
Okay, thank you so much. Let's move on. Eric, what do you have to say to what Sylvia has to say?
There is one thing that I want to correct. A mistake is something that you do once and you correct it. But immediately when you do it for 25 years, it's no longer a mistake, but it is a culture. We have a culture that we have been encountering as South Africans because of exactly what is happening. It is about time that South Africans must make sure that we have a fresh start. We had a false start and we put ourselves under these people. We need to correct it. There is a question that was put to say, why did we include legislations that are anti-Christ? I want to put it to the gentleman to say there is one supreme law in South Africa, and the supreme law is the Constitution. There is no other thing that can go above the Constitution. Each and every citizen in South Africa is protected by the Constitution. I would like to refer the person to some sections of the Constitution which tells us that each and every person has a right to any religion. We need to respect the Christians, we need to respect the Muslims, we need to respect all those people who believe in traditional medicine.
Yeah.
So that in itself makes South Africa what it is. We are, in our diversity, united.
All right, thank you so much for that. Aldrin, I see you have more people. Let's go back to you.
Yes, it's a bit of a scrum here. Many questions that are coming from the floor. Let me quickly just call the guy with the orange T-shirt. He's a supporter of Good Party. His name is Godfrey. Godfrey, what's your question quickly?
My question is, actually I need to take my question straight to EFF. EFF, you can't keep lying to us, telling about VBS only implicating ANC. It was clear that Julius Malema said, if Floyd is implicated, something will be done about Floyd. Yet you did nothing about Floyd. And you still keep going on and talking about lies. You followed on ANC steps of being corrupt. Because you are corrupt, you got VBS on its knees. The second question I need to pose to ANC. Mr. Soviet, stop lying to us because it's clear. You got Fetagomutubats municipality on its knees when you stole the money of the municipality of Fetagomutubats. The only thing you could do with your mayor was to just sideline him to give him another position in the organization. And he's still leading the ANC. That's why the government will still experience the corrupt leadership of the two political parties that we have in power. The third question.
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm going to wrap you there. We've got other people who want to ask questions as well. You can come forward. We have Likhanyane who wants to speak about the issue around unemployment. He wants to speak around the question around unemployment, but more specifically how it affects graduates, because government makes a huge deal about education. You get the graduates who end up standing on the side of the streets with placards that I can't find a job.
Yes, thank you very much. Indeed, some people need to be educated. In institution of higher learning like this, it's difficult to study anything without a quotation. But what was presented initially here can be backed up by the ways of Mahatma Gandhi, that he who has learned without moral ethics is not better than a baboon. And I want to believe that what was presented earlier on is something related to that. Just quickly, I wanted to find out if whether now, since the issue of free quality education has been fully implemented, I wanted to check if there is any mechanism in place that will facilitate the graduate after having conferred with their degrees.
Okay, and then the last question is going to come from a lady who's right at the back. Sorry guys. Let me just quickly ask Mabuso to come forward. Okay, now she's from Women Forward, and you want to raise issues that women face, quite particularly. And interesting thing about it is that women are in the majority even when it comes to those who have registered to participate in the elections.
People always assume that women issues have nothing to do with politics, but we are the majority of society. If we're not protected or prioritized, you're harming us essentially. And everyone on the stage actually spoke about women development, but we don't actually have women's concentrated policies other than health policies which actually apply. And I find that very problematic. If you prioritize us, I think we would be somewhere in the Constitution other than actually getting sick.
Actually, for me, one of the interesting bits, Shahan, as well, is that if you look at the entire panel that you have there, all are male.
Yeah, and let's be honest, we did have 2 female panelists, Aldrin, who confirmed and then pulled out at the last minute because they were busy with other things. So we have tried to be fair, but this is the result of people not being available. Josie, let's start with you and the question about the EFF's involvement in VBS.
Look, the they they spoke about Brian, not Floyd. Let's be clear. They spoke about Brian. They did not speak about Floyd. Brian does not lead any structure of the EFF. So you can't say Brian is the EFF. So now we are saying take us to a process. Take us to a process that will investigate and find us guilty. Don't presume on the basis of your political position, and in particular trying to defend your own wrong by labeling us corrupt people. No. Take us through a proper process of finding us guilty. There is nowhere where we are saying we'll never. In fact, we are always the first people to say, take us to court. Give us a day in court. Let us go and answer the question you want us to answer. We have never refused to go to any court. Unlike the reason we are saying the ANC is the one that is trying to balloon this thing and make people lose focus.
Well,
look
but
here,
Josie, the guy who raised the question of VBS also posed a question to the ANC about stealing money. So this is a man who seems to be independent of both parties, saying that he has concerns about both parties' links.
The point I raised even in the first place, the EFF has not collapsed any municipality. The VBS report spoke about...
You're not leading any municipality to collapse it.
The report speaks about Brian. It does not speak about Floyd. But now because you want your plate to be covered with a bigger meat, you mention a name of a heavy political weight in the EFF. It cannot arise that. You guilty. In this case, it must be by merits, not by association. So Floyd and Brian are two different things. And then the other one is the deputy president and the other one is a businessman. So you cannot confuse the two.
We can't confuse the two, but you get the suspicious links because people again will be suspicious about
them. You cannot run a country on the basis of suspicion.
Voters have a right to be suspicious of politicians.
No.
There is no doubt about that.
An innocent and an honest citizen, upon receiving an explanation, if that person is genuine, that person will understand that explanation. But if you find a person who refuses to understand an explanation given from having a suspicion, then that person, there is a problem there.
Okay, there's a problem with you apparently, according to Josie. Soviet, there is a question to you, and it was more a statement saying that the ANC has stolen money. What do you say to that? Because that seems to be something that people actually do think.
Look, the ANC put a mayor in Fitahomu towards a local municipality. And 250 million in that municipality was unlawfully and wrongfully invested with VBS, and the money has been lost. But we came out very boldly as the ANC and condemned that malpractice. We even went overboard and said those investments lacked wisdom because we never expected any leader or member of the ANC or any professional who has a master's degree or postgraduate to go and do such a stupid acts. We still condemn them today. Those investments were stupid. They are intolerable. They can't be accepted. And where is the mayor? We have removed him from that position together with the 6 others because they must take ministerial accountability for the malgovernance in their areas of deployment.
Are they still
the ANC does not have a mandate for people to go and steal. People go and steal because of their own weaknesses, not because it's a policy of the ANC.
All those 7 mayors that you got rid of,
we have removed them, all of them, including the CFOs and
where are they in the party
managers.
Now? Where are they sitting? Where do they sit today? What money do they get?
After we have done that, we have referred the matter of VBS to the police. We said the police must investigate these matters, and when they are satisfied that sufficient evidence has been gathered, court proceedings must ensue.
Okay, but I'm asking you a different question. I read that some of the mayors are still councillors who are
Yes.
getting money. So what action have you really taken against them if they're still being paid because they're a councillor?
They are still councillors because they have not been found guilty by any court of law that disqualifies them from being councillors. But they have been removed from the responsibilities that they were given by the
Is that
ANC.
good enough?
For a person to be a councillor, that person must comply with the Electoral Act. And if there is if there is nothing against the Electoral Act, you can continue to be a public
Tell
representative.
me, how much do they get paid per month, councillors?
Yeah?
How much do they get paid per month?
No, municipalities differ in terms of the ratings.
But they get
there
a
are
fat
municipalities
cat,
at grade
they get
5,
a fat
at
cat
grade
salary,
4,
right? So
at
they
grade 3.
mismanage money from the public, municipal money. They invest it even though Treasury says do not invest in VBS Bank
Yes.
because it's against our rules.
Yes.
They get removed as mayors, but they're still councillors earning fat cat salaries.
You know
and
what?
you think you've taken action against them.
Yes, they are removed. They are removed from the positions they've been appointed because they have failed to exercise due diligence in their responsibilities, but they have not been found guilty criminally.
Okay, that's your justification. I have to go to break, but I'm going to come back to you. Let's take a quick break. We have more people lining up for more tough questions. It's great. I love the questions we're getting from our crowd. Aldrin, of course, they're asking the tough questions as well. When we return, we'll go back to the crowd for questions. We'll give the DA, COPE, and the EFF a chance to respond as well. We'll try to be as fair as possible in this process, but time is running out. A quick break now. You're watching the eNCA special town hall debate at the University of Limpopo. Hello and welcome back to the special eNCA Town Hall debate at the University of Limpopo. I'm Shahan Ramkisoon. It's great to have you with us. I mean, this is what it is about. The discontent, the anger, the cheering for our panelists, and of course, people want to get an opportunity to ask tough questions. Aldrin St. Pierre is trying to manage a crowd so that we give people a fair chance to come through and ask questions. While he gets ready and handles that process, let's go back to our panelists. All right, guys, let's settle down and respect each other when it comes to this. We have to have a process that's fair, and we are taking one person from each political party to Aldrin. So please respect that process. Please settle down so that we can hear each other, so that we can actually do this in a dignified manner. Aldrin?
Okay. Well, it's a bit of a scrum. Some people are arguing that others shouldn't be asking questions just because they're affiliated to a certain political party. What we need to understand, here's it, guys. What you need to understand, whichever political party you are affiliated to, it is fine, because chances are that you'll be voting for that party. Am I correct? Chances are that you'll be voting for the party. And what we need to understand as well, that we've asked the different political parties to bring through their members, and the members are here. The members will participate in the debate as well. Okay, Miriam, you are one of the students here. What is the issue that you want to raise?
My question is directed to Soviet Lekhanyan. The question is, why should we trust ANC regarding the quality education system, while the SRC president of University of Limpopo led SASCO, which happens to be the baby of ANC, has graduated having faced the rules of exclusion? How sure are we that the ANC, which is the ruling party, does not have a hand in the graduations of the SRC president?
Shahan, after this round, we'll actually have Njabulo, who will have an opportunity to respond to these allegations as well. One question here from the floor as well is a question that you want to raise, so you can go ahead. It's a question around land.
Yeah, well, my name is Dunisoni. My question is directed to Joe Sibutan. You have raised an issue about the distribution of land, right? What is the use of distributing the land to people without equipping them with resources and the education on how to work the land? There's no use of distributing the land without it.
Distributing land without assistance. Final question is a member from the DA, sir. You can go ahead.
Thank you, sir. My question is directed to our national spokesperson, Solumalat. My question is, in this province, Limpopo, we have seen the high level of corruption in this province by the people on your right. So as the Democratic Alliance, after the 8th of August, after we have been taken this government, what are you going to deal with this corruption in this country and the lifestyle audit of people who are corrupt, especially the politicians? What's your plan regarding corruption in this province? Thank you.
Well, Shahan, it's back to you. And when we come back to the last round, Shahan, I'd like us to have a little bit of a debate between the former SRC president, who was under the EFF, and Njabulo, as we heard allegations against him, who's representing SASCO. We'll hear after this.
All right, Aldrin, let's start with the Democratic Alliance. That was the last question you got. Solly, what do you have to say to that?
Look, we are very determined to tackle corruption. Our manifesto states very clearly that we are proposing a 15-year sentence for anyone convicted of corruption, because it is high time that there are real consequences for politicians who are not only implicated in corruption, but who are found to be. And contrary to what my two colleagues are saying, you don't need a court of law to do the right thing. It is wrong to have people who have mismanaged funds meant for basic service delivery to be going to parliament when they should be going for prison. It is wrong to send people to serve as public servants in the same province or municipalities where they led the collapse of those municipalities. It is wrong to continue elevating people like Matabile Dlamini, or even the former mayor of Vembe, who is his treasurer general. He is now in the leadership of the province, but also as a candidate to go to the provincial legislature. What it basically says is that we can take executive power, but you can remain as a politician in there. And what that does is it compromises honest public servants who are fighting against politicians to make sure services are delivered to the people. That is why on our list, you will not find a politician who has stolen any money from the public going to serve there, because we need leaders who are honest. We need leaders who have ethical leadership, We need leaders who serve with example, so that when we talk about fighting corruption, we do so with the credibility that it deserves.
Solly, how do you make that happen? How do you make all of that happen as the Democratic Alliance when you've basically relied on coalition governments to take charge of municipalities, and then you have fallouts with the EFF in those municipalities?
Look, the EFF and the DA are two different political parties. There is agreement on issues that affect service delivery. Where it's important, we do so. But that does not mean that we pay lip service where wrongdoing is being done, whether it's done by the EFF or the ANC or any of our members. Our interest is in making sure that coalition govern work to improve the quality of lives of the people, in making sure that we deliver services, in making sure that we fight corruption, and we install government that inspire hope where there hasn't been hope for so years because of the legacy of the failing ANC and poor service delivery.
All right, Eric, you want to respond to something?
We are where we are as Limpopo province because of the leadership that failed. We are where we are because there's been a problem whereby Matale, who was the premier, was removed from the province and was taken to national. The reason is, why was he removed as a premier in the province? Because of corruption. How do you move a person who's corrupt from province and move him to national? Now Matale, as we are speaking, he is the deputy minister of transport. It is because they are recycling people who are thieving. This is a culture that is taking place in Limpopo. And we as Congress of the People, we are saying, we can see people who stole money, who stole people's money, and people in the Limpopo now don't have water. We are suffering as far as electricity is concerned. We are suffering as far as transport and the roads are concerned because of stealing. We as Congress of People, we are saying enough is enough. And for that matter, we need to make sure that we take over this government as Congress of the People. People of South Africa, people of Limpopo, you have the right, you have the powers. Vote them out. Vote Congress of the People in. We are ready to serve you. We are leaders who will be able to make sure that we work for you. I thank you.
Soviet, I'm guessing you want to respond to that and the question from the audience.
Just one thing before I get to the point. You know, Solim Simang was the mayor of Tshwane. He unlawfully employed a chief of staff in his office where the two parties are governing. He is now the DA candidate to become the premier of Gauteng. So corruption is not in the ANC DNA. We all condemn corruption. Corruption is a societal matter. There are corrupt elements in the DA. There are corrupt elements in the ANC. There are corrupt elements in the EFF, in COPE. All of us, what we need is a manifest demonstration that we are fighting against corruption. And I said to you, we are committing ourselves to restore public confidence in the public institutions. We have the resilience, the courage, and the fortitude to do so. Watch the space.
Just before you go to that question,
Isn't
it sad that our political leaders have to admit that they have corrupt members among themselves? That's the reality, though.
That is the reality, yes.
We are how many years more does the public actually trust you to get rid of those corrupt individuals? Because it's been years already.
The public must look at what we do to fight against corruption. We have put commissions here. We have strengthened the state institutions, the law enforcement agencies. The president has said it during the State of the Nation address that we are going to create a new agency in the NPA which will work together with the DPP. That is our manifest intent, to fight against corruption. But look, there is a question which was asked here about the SRC president. It is not our wish that our students must become ancestors at these institutions.
They are.
But let's allow everybody to complete at their own pace. We are investing a lot of money in education. Government is spending a lot of billions in NSFAS. This year alone, we have approved more than 300,000 NSFAS applications. We want to make a humble appeal to the youth of this province. province and the country to take the opportunity, to seize the opportunity and make this democracy work for them. The best companionship you can ever have in life is with education.
All right, Soviet, thanks. Try to keep your answers short, guys, because this is our last segment. Josie, go ahead.
Look, on the distribution of land, we are saying this land must be shared equally amongst people who live in it. But priority must be given in terms of its geographics. And it will tell you that the blacks will have to own the major parts and then the rest shall follow, unlike the current patterns. But we are saying we are going to assist those farmers, unlike the current setup that says, here is land, we buy it with these billions and then abandon you there. We are going to take these people for training. We are going to assist them to produce, process and sell here in-house, here in Limpopo. The people of Venda, the people of Chakuma, the people of Zanene will do tea, will have bananas, will process them in those regions of theirs. That will create job, that will create the economic life in that area. But the other issue we need to speak to, let us not lie to each other here. You can't say the ANC has come boldly on corruption. What bold? Because this one here, just next to me, there were machine guns there at Bikat Street. They wanted to kill him for speaking on VBS. So, members of the ANC, so why are you saying the ANC is against corruption? When any one of them speak about it, they kill him. In the head office of Polokwane here, Bikat, this one, he can't refuse. AK-47, there, they wanted to kill him for speaking about corruption. Not that he's not corrupt himself.
Yeah.
But also, the other point I need to correct is that you can't speak about Tswane. You can't speak about Tswane and say the EFF and the DA are co-running it. We're not co-running that thing. There is no coalition. The EFF is not the mayor there. The EFF.
But you supported the Democratic
EFF,
Alliance.
What we did was to punish the ANC out of power in Tswane. But the EFF is not the speaker. The EFF is not the chief whip. So how do you say there is coalition?
You
is the DA
with the DA to get them in power.
Yes, look.
You helped them get into that position.
Get it right. Get it right. Helping the DA to punish the ANC does not mean the EFF coalition with the coalition.
So listen, you don't want the ANC in there because you're not happy with their leadership.
No.
You helped the DA to get in there, but you're not happy with their leadership either. So why would you help them if you're not happy with their leadership?
No. These ones, we had to punish them for their arrogance, their ill-treating of the people, their corruption and all that. Like the arrogance you see yourself here. You can't speak as if you are not subjected to abuse here. Yourself by the ANC.
I wish I had a soccer ball here because I would be kicking it around. Is that what you're playing?
Is the issue I'm trying to deal with?
Listen, let's stop there, right? Listen, let's stop there now. Guys, we don't have much time. So what we're going to do is we'll go back to Aldrin for questions. And then we'll give our politicians 90 seconds to respond to each of those questions because we're going back and forth and it's taking too long. So get the clock ready. We'll give them 90 seconds to respond to these sets of questions. Elton?
Okay, so what we're going to do now is that we're going to try and have a little impromptu debate between the student leaders here. The former SRC president, which was led by Mnisi here under the EFF, and then the current SRC president led by Njabul. Your question to Njabul.
Number one question, I want to reiterate the one that was asked about this issue of education. Number one, the current SRC president was excluded by two university rules, G26.1, G20.1. That says that he's not eligible to be registered anymore or that to apply with the university. But now it happened that he's registered with a Teflop University graduate and he was not supposed to be there and he's still a president.
Is that the truth?
No, thank you very much. First and foremost, I'm very much disappointed if we are going to have academic runnists, people who are running away from books to read. The former president of the SRC MNIS was sitting on Senate where they talk about rules, where all students who are affected by rules, they go to Senate. You can ask him. I've never appealed in Senate any given day. I passed everything. I graduated. They are political jealous. I graduated. I'm doing a new degree, which is not even in just like graduate. I'm doing become economics. I'm never affected by a rule. Which rule? I can't read this. Which rule?
Okay. Quick one then. Let's quickly deal with some of the issues. The issue around outsourcing, quickly.
Okay, the issue of outsourcing. Last year when we were the SRCS, the EFF, we advocated for the workers that those who are general workers to be insourced. But now we are surprised. Where is the process start? Because by now the workers, they were supposed to be insourced. Immediately when SASCO came in, everything changed.
Is that the truth?
The challenge with these people, they are EFFSC, student command. If workers are having...
Are you against the outsourcing of work?
I'm not against. I'm saying they must go through the panel of Nehau. Nehau is representing workers. Nisi is not a worker, it's a student.
Okay, final one. Njabulo, your question around the issue or apparently that the money disappeared from the SRC coffers.
Yes, there is a fat man there in France, Josie Putan. When Josie Putan was imposed by Julius Malema to be the secretary of the EFF, they were abusing funds in the University of Limpopo. I'm speaking today. They lost 3.5 million through a project called Milete. You can go to Bushaleng to Bushaleng there. They will tell you workers are not paid for 3 months because the same people, they were using the same SRC to loot student money.
Mnisi, where's the money?
The money is there. He's lying. They are the one who misused man. Today, as we are speaking, we are having the recordings of his own people talking about him that he stole money as we are speaking now. The EFF never stole money. We must vote the EFF on the 8th to continue with clean government.
Well, Shahan, there you have some of the issues that have been raised, and you can see there's a bit of a scuffle here. I'm just going to try and push through quickly. Here is a BLF member who wants to raise an issue around why politicians do not use public services.
First of all, I want to say that as the BLF, we have been excluded, but it's fine. First of all, why are these students not united? The EFF student condoms and the SASCO bread, they are saying that they all support the insourcing of workers, but they are fighting amongst each other. As BLF, we are saying that there must be unity among students. When we march for free education, when Jacob Zuma, the president of South Africa, he said that there must be free education. These people, they are fighting it, they are beating us when we demand free education. We are saying to the people in parliament, why are you not using public services? When they answer that question...
Okay, well, it's getting a bit out of hand. Shahan, it's back to you. Why are politicians not using public services? A very interesting point is the issue around unity, the unity that we saw when there was a Fees Must Fall campaign. Different political parties of different affiliations came together to march and said that fees must fall. Where is that unity now?
All right, Aldrin, thanks for that. I see some people trying to drape you with the ANC colors as well. Let's go to that question, guys. We have 90 seconds for you to respond. Guys, before we let them respond, I need you to move away from here because you're blocking our shots, right? So please move away, and then we'll get our politicians to respond. Remember, you had the opportunity to ask the questions. Let's get the answers. So go back to your seats, please, and then we'll continue the conversation. You are watching a live eNCA debate at the University of Limpopo. Of course, people have various questions on education, the outsourcing of workers, which our panelists will now answer because we have some sort of formality going on now. 90 seconds, let's get the clock going. We'll start with the EFF. Your time starts now.
You are responding to the questions, right? It's a lie. It's a lie that the EFF ate money in this university. It was the EFF that introduced a free meal a day in this university. There was a point under the leadership of the EFFSC where students were eating for free here. There was a time under the leadership of the EFFSC here, where sanitary towels were provided for free here. Those things are not happening now. So you can't say we ate money. We provided even beyond our own means for these students here to get the better services. You can't talk about free education here as the ANC boldly when these students continue to be shorted. You cannot allow yourself to be shorted when you claim that you are getting something for free. It means something is not right. It means the free they are not talking about is not free. Students at the University of Venda were shorted just this year. So what free are you talking about? And then what money are you talking about that you are giving students? We have given them real practical things. We have given them meals a day. It's not happening currently now. Yeah. In this university. Every student here
your time is up, Josie.
Every student here without...
We don't have time to go through this. Let's just try and get this done in 90 seconds, please. Let's just be adults about this. 90 seconds starts now, Soviet.
Yes, the four universities in Limpopo, UNISA, University of Tshwane, University of Venda, University of Limpopo, are for the first time after 4 years, all of them under the leadership of the ANC allied PYA. And this has been possible because the students themselves came to the ANC and said that there is no other organization qualified to lead us except the African National Congress and its PYA formations. We are aware of the good policies that you have introduced in government. You are educating children from poor families because you know the success of the struggle against poverty is only possible with tertiary education. And that is why these students are very happy. They are in the synagogue under the leadership of the ANC.
Okay, Eric, let's restart the clock. Soviet was done on time. You can go now. Let's give him a minute.
Yeah. Yes, it is only those people who are not knowledgeable who will appreciate that my comrades on the right are saying the truth. But we who knows the truth, we are saying it is not correct that the EFF brought this food per day, free food per day. It is not correct. We have contributed and we have participated, and it is just a lie. And what I want to put it again, it is the ANC. The ANC is lying to say they are leading the university now. What is correct is this is a government of national unity. We as Congress of the People has contributed to make sure that there is leadership in this. We have now jointly made it a point that they are doing it right. As far as education is concerned, we want to tell you, South Africans, the kind of education system that you're receiving, it is not worth it. We need to make sure that we come to the correct one and have the good education wherein people will be able to get the proper education and compete internationally. We are once more want to tell you that as Congress of the People, we are repeating, watch this space. I thank you.
All right, Soli, I want to try to get you to answer the other questions that have been ignored. The question on women in politics, that there's no women development, outsourcing of workers. What's your stance as the Democratic Alliance on the outsourcing of workers?
Okay, cool.
Let's start your 90 seconds now.
Sure. I mean, everyone who has watched the history of the organization know we are actually the first party to have a female leader of the party, a female mayor, a female premier, and a female parliamentary leader. So it is encapsulated in that. And in the diversity of the leadership, it's not only about gender, it's a mix of youth, of individuals from different backgrounds. But again, with regards to outsourcing, the key thing here is making sure that there is job creation by allowing cities to be the drivers of economic growth that will result in jobs, to invest in infrastructure development, because the role of a government is to create the conditions for investment to take place. And you create those conditions by making sure that you have ethical leadership that can boost investor confidence in there. And coming to the issue of land, we want to make sure that even people that live on communal land have title deeds to those land so that we can drive real empowerment. And regarding the issue of free education, it is important to separate poor students from those who can pay. We are saying that poor students who are academically deserving should get free education, and those who afford to pay must pay. But we must also improve the curriculum of our TVET colleges, because not everyone can be absorbed by universities, so that we can produce the technical skills that our economy needs to drive job creation and economic growth.
All right. We've spoken about tertiary education. I want to bring in the issue of primary education in Limpopo in particular. Soviet, the president made this statement at his State of the Nation address. He said there were 507 schools with only pit latrines, 853 with proper sanitation, but pits remain. It's a major issue in Limpopo. In fact, in 2015, there were 37% of toilets across the schools here were pit toilets. What have you done so far to address this? It is a concern of people and the president.
In terms of support to primary education, first of all, let me tell you that we have 1.6 million learners in quintiles 1, 2, and 3 in South Africa, in schools in Limpopo, who are benefiting from the National School Nutrition Program. We have built education facilities, what we call state-of-the-art schools. You see them in this province because it's one of the impoverished provinces, but we are keeping a development with times. Yes, it's true that we're having a huge backlog in terms of sanitation, but you will remember that in the last 5 years, sanitation has been our priority program in schools. Last year, when the president announced the stimulus package, you might have noticed one hallmark of that package, the hallmark feature of it was the building of sanitation facilities in schools, including a provision of beds in hospitals. Okay. Very lastly, we are also in partnership with Asupol as a province to make sure that we have identified about 50 schools in the province which are going to be beneficiaries of these facilities.
Okay, let's hope it gets done soon. This is the end. This is the end of our conversation. So I have 3 minutes to go through everyone. So let's give everybody 30 seconds to give us closing remarks, and then we have to end it because that's our time, basically. Sali, let's start with you. 30 seconds starting now.
Sure. I mean, it's very clear that amongst all the different political parties here, we are the only party that is credible about tackling corruption. None of our leaders have been implicated in corruption. Where corruption takes place, we take action. We've got credible plans about creating jobs that will make sure that young people are absorbed into a national youth civilian program so that we can ultimately deliver a job in every home. We want to professionalize the police service because we want our crime fighters to have the resources and skills that will result in convictions for criminals.
All right, thank you. Eric, quickly, 30 seconds. Let's get it up. Go.
Each school in Limpopo would have toilets. But the MEC of Education, Ishmael Khechepe, took $1 million from Vula Trust. It's because of corruption that we are not developing. You can Google it. I challenge you. As far as COVID is concerned, we are prepared to make sure that corruption is non-existent under our administration. We also want to make it a point that people are going to get good education so that they can free themselves and build their own houses and be able to be confident as South Africans. I thank you.
Okay, thanks. Let's go to Soviet.
We have changed the lives of the people of South Africa. We have made Limpopo a better place. The rural communities of this province have improved. They have access to basic services. We have ensured that children from poor families, rural areas get quality education, excellent in math and science. Our approach is intergenerational. South Africa, Limpopo, your organization, the African National Congress will forever be with you. Our appointment is the 8th of May. The ANC is winning, the ANC is towering, the ANC is great.
Okay, your time is up. Josie, you get the last word. 30 seconds. Make it good.
The people of Limpopo vote for decent houses, vote for the EFF for better jobs, vote for the EFF for quality education, vote for the EFF for a corrupt-free governance. It is only the EFF that has the capacity of exposing this government. They say we don't have water. They have eaten money for water reticulation. A children has died in the pit toilet after the MEC has taken money.
All right, Josie, your time is up. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your time. This is the end of our special eNCA election debate at the University of Limpopo. Don't you love our democracy, guys? We can come here together, have different opinions, and go to the polls and still make our mark regardless of those opinions. Our democratic rights to the election on the 8th of May. This is an eNCA special town hall debate. Thank you for coming, and thanks for watching. I'm Shahan Ramkisoon.